Hey everybody, welcome back to our fun little extreme programming session. Today's a new day and I'm going to be taking care of the bugs we encountered yesterday. If you remember, well, I just watched the video so I could remember where I left off, which is really the main reason I'm doing these videos. So I don't expect there's a lot of people who will watch these. But I find for myself doing this stream of consciousness thing at least, well, I've only done it for maybe 4 days so far with programming, and it seems to help. So I'm gonna just run the program really quickly. It's gonna feedback horribly. Yeah. But to bring you up to speed, let me quit it really quickly and restart it. Sorry about the noise, but I'm just putting the headphones down. And I'll try to broadcast this. So you can see while I'm talking, this the input box will get bigger and bigger. And then after that, the things that grow are, well, the objects only come out when there's mic input, and the threshold seems to be working okay. And whenever there's a collision, there should be a sound which correlates to the recorded buffer at the time the object was created. Sorry about that, but that doesn't seem to work yet. It seems to only make sounds at the beginning. And I'm not really sure why. So I'm gonna go ahead and debug that stuff today. I'm still getting set up here. Oh, it might be good. Yeah. So what are we doing? Well, I'm quitting this program for one. And now I have to find out what's going on. I can see by looking in our log here. There may be a memory leak. I'm not sure what this is. And these types of memory leaks with auto release in a non-existent pool, that generally means there's a thread running where you don't have a, what's that called, auto release pool set up. And it's kind of silly, but anytime you open a thread in Objective-C using the, well, a thread that will allocate and deallocate things, you need to instantiate a pool within that thread. So I can look at that later. That might be actually in the audio updater, I'm not sure. But I'm looking at this stuff and there isn't a lot of sound being created code. That makes me want to look at one thing. Our sounds have a lifetime, our filter sounds, and the ones that correspond to the mic input are called input buffer sound right here, this file in the upper left panel. And what I'm trying to see is where we set the lifetime, and it's right here. Should be removed. Now, if this is, the object gets deleted in an update call if this is true. And I want to make sure it's not flipped around or something. Return buffer index is greater than or equal to buffers.size. Okay, this could be an issue if we add things, if we're adding this out. This is not the issue. No, I don't think this is the issue. because we haven't added it to the mixer yet. Okay, I'm gonna move myself out of the way for now and look at the voice entity. The voice entity corresponds to those rectangles that would be created every time you say something. And these guys are in charge of making the sound. So, why aren't they making sounds? Well, let's just look here a little bit. Input buffer sound. I want to make sure there's no more sine sounds anywhere, for one thing. Yeah, there are none. Input buffer sound. So we allocate it, and then we play. And this init method is where we take the buffer, I believe, right? Here we have just a straight up copy. We take the original and copy it over. And I want to make sure our pointer system is correct. That's a voice entity. Yeah. And we call get buffers to get the buffers, which returns a pointer to a vector of input buffers. And I think that's correct. There is a get buffers call. Yep. And that looks okay to me. I set buffer index to 0. So at this point, there's already, our buffers have a certain size, and buffer index is already 0. So when we get to the should be removed call, that should be okay, because this is 0 and this is high. I just want to make sure. I'm going to look at filter sound. Use the lower left one. Filter sound.mm. And filter sound has a should be removed. Samples remaining less than 0. Okay, that makes sense. And that's the only time they get removed, I believe. There's no other types of fancy calls. Yeah. So is there a chance we are incrementing the buffer index way too fast? Then this is kind of a hard one to debug. Buffer sample index greater than in number of frames. Is that right? You know what? I don't like that, but no, I guess that's okay. This makes the assumption, you can write it, assumes all buffers have same size, because we compute the in number frames way up here. If this is 0, of course, we are screwed. So this happens once a callback right to buffer internal. I'm going to do a printf here so we can get some data, because I've got nothing to work with yet as far as debugging goes. Input buffer sound in number frames %I, and the other one is I want to know the amount of buffers, so there's just buffers dot size. Oops, did I do that? Okay. Not a big deal. Result type bouffres. In number frames. Alright, so let's just re-debug with this. Switch over to the Mac while it's building. I think I have time for a drink of water. Alright, looks like it's loading up now. Surprised how long it takes. Okay, so I got something going. Okay, this is just, I have the debugging output going and that's all I need. I'm going to stop it here. It looks like, yeah, the number of buffers makes sense. They're all varying. We expect that. Okay, so we're hitting this callback quite regularly, and that is good. Now we can go back and we know this callback's getting called. I'm pretty sure the buffers are valid and they actually have sounds in them, and that's why you'll get feedback sometimes. I'm going to delete this. Yeah. So here we have valid stuff. I hope envelope isn't some stupid value. I don't think it is, but for now, let's just set env to 1 and see if we get some better output. So I'm putting gotta time this right, otherwise I'll cause a lot of feedback. Hello! Wow. That sounds pretty cool, but it's not. Hello! 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 It's weird, it like feeds back the thing right away. What's going on? It's almost like the buffers are all sharing the same ring or something. That's not the case. We're mallocking them on the fly in Input Manager. Let me look at the Input Manager, just in case. Not Input Manager, it's in the callback, which is in Filter Audio. I guess it would be in Audio, Filter Audio.mm. And this is actually a C++ mode. So render input. Write to buffer. Here's the input side of the code.